How is your design adventure?
Um, I'm still not subscribed to Claude, but I've been using something else, like as a means to like kickstart my, I guess like my AI product building journey. So like I use Lovable, um,
Lovable. Hmm.
as like a means to like create like just very small projects like this. Like just yesterday, I published a like a simple design software where you just kind of like um, edit images or anything like that. Just to see like what it's capable of. Um,
Ah, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
but I know for like big, like larger scale projects, I don't think Lovable is good for that. I think you have to like
yeah, I mean, oh, hey Mawa. Good to see you again. Yeah, so Lovable, I think, it is a pretty good start, I would say, but I'm running these podcasts with like designers from big companies from like Adobe, Shopify, and stuff like that. And on one of these conversations, there was this very interesting point that we are slowly, as a designers, we're slowly moving away from the canvas. At the very beginning, there was a Figma, which is total canvas. Then you start experimenting with Lovable, V2, or tools like that, and you have like canvas and chat, and then you kind of end up on Cloud or Codex or something like that, and it's just chat. There's no canvas anymore. So this I really really love this comparison of designers moving away from canvas to chatbox, from full canvas 50/50 to going full in. So I guess your next step is probably using Codex because you can use it for free.
Codex. Is that similar to Lovable or like what?
No, it's a cloud code but from OpenAI.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah. Are you
okay.
on Mac?
I mean Mac, yeah, I use Mac.
Yeah, so uh, I would highly recommend you play with it because with Lovable, yeah, I mean it's nice to start to like experiment, of course, but I think in Codex this is like the most designers I talk with these days, they don't use a lot of Figma, and they don't use a lot of this Lovable and stuff like that. They just sit in the code pretty much, which is
Yeah,
yeah, which is kind of insane. So, what is the app that you've been building?
I it was it's a like a simple design software where like you just edit images like using like filters or like using like visual effects like dithering effects, duotone, pixel effects, and then it's just a means of like people just kind of going onto this website quickly and just make like a few edits to like a
Mhm.
picture and then you just export it. It's nothing deep, but like I do have like a layers panel as well, which is nice.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of like the pro version of it. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, it's just kind of like I have no means to like monetize it or anything. You just kind of like see what this like what Lovable's capable of, and just maybe have it as like a little portfolio project. Yeah.
Yeah, I think these days a lot of people I meet, they create um, a lot of tools that are like for their personal use. For example, one guy I spoke with, he pretty much created his custom calendar because there was this, he has a kid and his kid is signed up for like a uh, sports trainings, and they are providing like a schedule in a very weird format, so he decided to just create a whole calendar for himself just to interpret this calendar of this specific trainings, because it was so like annoying for him to read. And I right now I can show you, right now I'm testing agents, I'm testing like different methods of building agents, let's say. And what I'm doing right now is I built myself a tool just for agent testing. So look, there are like different sessions, and there are like stats, everything that I needed over here, and everything the way I wanted it, which is pretty cool, because normally you would have to use some third-party tool for testing and stuff like that. And over here, I pretty much built the tool with all the functionalities exactly as I need it. And the only thing I'm doing, to be honest, is I'm testing three different methods of building agents, like SDK agent, which is, let's say, pre-built by Anthropic, plan agent, which is the one that creates plan and executes them, and the one that is a pipeline, let's say the most classic one, that kind of executes with instructions, right? And I'm comparing results of these three to each other to kind of see, okay, maybe this one works better than this one. Uh, and yeah, and normally I would have to like purchase some kind of a software to do something
Hmm.
like this. So I think
No,
this
yeah, like
this
if
is exciting.
if you can't buy it, build it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, even if you can't buy it, build it. Yeah, the my friend is a product manager, and right now he's in his crazy phase where he discovered that you can pretty much have open source all the tools like Notion, Slack, Figma, and something
Mm.
like that. And what he does, instead of paying for his company, he simply asks Claude to take this open source project, build it on his device, and then the whole company has it, and they pay nothing. And normally for like Notion, which is let's say around $20 per person, if you have 20 people, whew, that's a $400, and that's just one tool.
Mm.
So
No, yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy how much you can build with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
But
so
then the question emerges, if everyone can build their own tool, then what happens to SaaS, and what about building your own SaaS? How you gonna sell it,
yeah,
if any?
for
I
now,
believe that's sorry, I'm just starting to answering
go ahead.
my own question. So I
Go
believe
ahead,
that
go
there
ahead.
will always be some people that are simply so out of this bubble, so out of they simply that lack technical knowledge and under, understanding of the fact that there are such possibilities. Like, I don't know, your mom or my mom or anyone
Yeah,
who
yeah,
will
that's
always
true.
be eager to basically pay somebody to do it.
Yes, yes, but the thing is, yeah, there is a lot of people in organizations who prefer to click the button and download it than to open source, whatever, right? Stuff
Hmm.
like that. Of course, there is a lot of this, but I think that another value is that the tools are tested. It's for example, right now I was building this app for yeah, so it was a very interesting combination because I'm gonna show you. I didn't tell you about it, Anya, actually. This is yeah. So I've been building something like this. This is for physiotherapy. It's in Polish. And the thing is, this is the whole panel for this specific company. This is tool for one company, RS Athletica. And I spoke with them. I created like a PRD. Yeah, I created the whole PRD of how it should work, what functions it should have, everything, blah, 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 right? So I did the work of creating the PRD. Then I decided to partner with developer just to have developer over here. And then he pretty much took this PRD, he threw it into Cloud Code, and he said, done, right? So that was the whole work that he did on this project, which was like a lot, as you can say. And then, as this tool kind of went on the production, I started testing it. And, I started testing feature by feature, feature by feature. And there's a lot of things that I didn't like. So much so that I'm going to show you.
Is
So,
this the tool that you've been working on, like the side project you've been working on with Michał?
no, this is
Okay.
something that I did with Lucas because
Okay.
when I'm working on grids, I have moments where I'm waiting for it to finish and I cannot do anything else. So I was then testing this tool in the meantime. And
Okay.
where exactly is this? I don't know where my Zoom window. Oh, here it is. Zoom window is. So look, as we build it, look, this is the first round of feedback. This is second round of feedback. This is third round of feedback. This is fourth round of feedback. Fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think you get a picture.
Hmm.
And the thing is, there is actually more work on my side to just test it, to click it, test around, to check it, to see if everything works, if it behaves well, and stuff like that. Then there was actual development. Like back in the day, it used to be like this: Word class, let's say, respected developers, the masters of everything who did, the most job and earned the biggest amount of money, and QA people who are earning like one third. They were pretty much undervalued always, and they were just there because they had to be there, and they weren't like a special, let's say, uh, play. They were in like a special profession
Players. Yeah.
players.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they were like super respected in the profession wise. And right now, as writing code became so easy that you just throw it, it just writes it. I would say regular software development is pretty much valueless. Uh, I didn't even need developer to throw it into Claude and build it myself, but good testing and proper checking if everything works, stressing edge cases, clicking around and doing all this stuff, this became like way more valuable than it was before. So it's a kind of interesting shift that I think that happened here. Of course, I myself said that there is a lot of places where I use Claude for testing, but the more I work with Claude, the less I use it for testing. Because often when it tests, it simply checks, okay, did it pass? Yeah. Did it work? Yeah. All right, that's fine. But often when you test as a person, you test something and then something else breaks, or you discover some behavior that, okay, it works, but it could be better. Or you see that, okay, this doesn't actually look good. Okay, yes, that's what I wanted, but now that I see it in front of my eyes, that's not optimal, right? So it kind of shifts more into this testing. And just today, I had this thought that we are actually, I mean, at least right now, as I'm working, this is the most lean process possible, like the most agile, most lean process possible. I remember when I first read a lean startup or lean UX book. And there was this ridiculous example that when they created an email at the very beginning, they started super fresh, super small. At the very beginning, email, like Gmail, could only send emails. And when they built sending, then they realized, oh, it needs to receive emails. And only then they built something else. And it was so lean that at the very beginning, they didn't even plan for sending and receiving. They just did send and then only added receiving. And I was like, all right, that sounds like some kind of a super bookish thing to write in a book that's like so stupid, that all right. But then as I was working on this agentic panel, I built my, let's say, first three agents to kind of test them. I launched them and they're in the loop and they started executing. And I didn't include the stop button. And I just saw tokens like being pa, 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 500,000, 700. I'm like, fuck, how do I stop it? I started writing to it, stop it. And it was looping itself like, okay, stopping and then starting again. I'm like, shit. And, and then I was like, okay, I gotta add the stop button. And then it kind of came to my head that, oh, this is exactly like the case that was described in the Lean Startup book. Like I built just a start, then only after the failure, I built only the next stop button, and then I kind of moved it from there. So this is this kind of I like it. The way that this possibility for us as designers to take something and start working on it and work on something as innovative as this. Like you don't have to do this design thinking where it was like sitting for a month in a cave and figuring out what you gotta do and then building it, but you're actually trying, building, adding, subtracting, and working like that. Yeah. So that's it for this monologue.
I have a question about design handoff to the clients. Like how like what's your process in handing off design to the clients? I'm not sure if you mentioned that in previous office hours, but like I just like to know like how you go about it and like how do you hand off like a design
Yeah.
from to the
So
client
the
and stuff like that.
question is to the clients or to developer?
Well, aren't you the developer as well?
Yeah, yeah. That is the important question because if you work on something just conceptually and there is developer who takes from you, right? Then the process is going to be a little bit different. And if you're giving it exact straight to the client, and if you are, let's say, the solo working unit, you're not in organization, right? Then it is going to be a little bit different. And there still is stuff that I cannot do. I build everything, I can make it work, I can make, everything I want. But the problem is, I still would be kind of afraid to launch what I have into the world because I'm pretty fucking convinced there is at least one gap uh, that could be exploited by hackers, and my account would just go like that for tokens, and I don't know nothing about it. So I can do like 90% of work, but still for the last 10% in more complex cases, like the ones what I'm building it right now, where I'm exposing many different access points, APIs, many, user info, like a lot of vulnerable data. That's the stuff where I would still want a developer. But
Mm.
for simple stuff where we are just talking landing page, let's say, right? Or something on this level of complexity, what we are using for ourselves, I can tell you, let's say we are our own client, is we build with Cloud Code, right? And then we use GitHub and Vercel. Do you know those?
I know GitHub, but Vercel, I think I've heard
I'll
of it.
show you. Let me show you. Yeah. So once you have something in GitHub, can I have like Chrome canvas? Perfect. What is this? I just want to draw. Oh, perfect. if you have something on your local device, right? So this is your computer. Do you see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so this is your computer. Then from your computer, you're giving it to GitHub, which is a repository, right? This is like it's a database, I would say. Okay, yeah, it's a database. So then from this database, you can retrieve, you can update it. It's just like, let's say it's on a Google Drive in simplified terms. And then from GitHub, you can connect it to Vercel, which is the connected domain stuff. This is where you www, where you publish into a specific domain. And then you can automate it. So every time you push something to GitHub, GitHub is like, oh, I got something new, and it pushes the changes to Vercel, to this. So this way it becomes super easy for you, right? Because you only care about connecting it with the GitHub, which is super easy, and then GitHub updates Vercel by itself. So this is like the first thing you gotta know. And Vercel looks like this. This is their page. We use it as well. So it is by default it is free. If you want to connect your own domain, is it paid? Actually, it's also free, I think. Let's check.
To the extent you will need it for personal projects, Vercel free version will be okay.
But yeah, Anya, you remember we are using free
Yeah,
Vercel.
we're using free one.
Yeah, so this is very unique because normally if you want to connect your own domain, you have to pay in every tool that you know. But in Vercel, you can have your own domain and it's still going to be free, which is epic, you know? And this tool is beautiful. It's really nice. Like these days, this is the standard, I would say, for all projects like ones we do, right? So yeah, this is the way I would push it to Vercel, and this is the way I would hand it over to the client. Of course, it depends who the client is, but they usually just care about having it online, right?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I when I designed that software on Lovable, so they they have like a partnership with Ionos, which is like a domain website,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just kind of like push the design with like the with Ionos, and then it'll just publish it itself.
Ah, all right,
But,
but it's paid though, right?
well, like for your first domain, like you just pay like I think $1 a year. That's it. But like
Mm.
they're pretty affordable when it comes to like uh domain names and stuff like that.
Okay, okay, yeah, that's good.
But I think that's a different use case though, right? Because you're just publishing your own software.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they do is the stuff that you're describing, this Iron Dome. I don't know them specifically, but it's probably the same thing. They sell domains and they sell. I think they actually can sell just domains because Lovable is a server in itself, right? You can host just on Lovable.
Mhm.
So kind of Lovable takes care of everything Vercel does, and domain is like if you want on Lovable to use on a Vercel to use a domain, you have to buy it somewhere on GoDaddy. Usually, this is the page where pretty much everybody buys domains, and when it comes to this Lovable, I mean, this is a good thing for start. Yeah, to kind of get a grasp, have some fun with it, not waste time on configuring stuff, right? Just playing
Mhm.
around with it. But it is limited.
Yeah. Do you ever find yourself, um, like when you're using Claude, do you ever see it like just not follow instructions at all, and then you just kind of like output things that are the same as the previous output?
Mm. You know what I usually sometimes I see that it doesn't understand me. But the reason why it usually happens is because I'm not explicit enough about what I want to get. So that's why the more I'm working with AI, the the more technical I got myself. Because at the very beginning, I was like, create me the agent, they can do ABC, right? And it built it. It built the agent that does everything that I wanted. But then I was like, okay, now add this functionality. Now agents should be able to do this. Now agents should be able to do this. I was kind of talking on this level of sophistication at the very beginning. And everything worked. But problem was when I tried to fix something, it was a nightmare, like trying to figure out like, oh my God, what is going on in this code? I have no idea. I had like I tried fixing the way my agents were working, but it just got messier and messier and messier. And right now what I do is instead of giving AI like make this functionality work like this, I uh, I try to think a little bit more technically, like, okay, where do I want to get data from? Where do I want to store it? What do I want to? Okay, I will give you a very specific example. This is a good one. Very specific example. So the tool I'm building right now, I'm gonna share the screen. This is gonna be good. Look at this. Uh, so look, the tool I'm building right now, right? This one. So over here, when basically I'm asking AI to search and find, for example, this specific companies, right? It takes these companies from the prompt, find me companies from the Deloitte Fast 50 report, right? And what it normally would do is it would search for this report, it would read the whole thing, and then from this report, it would list the companies over here. It totally makes sense, right? It's like normal expected behavior. But the problem was when AI was going and reading this whole thing and kind of, working on this itself, it took the whole PDF into AI, and then that whole PDF was kind of read by AI and written by AI back here. Problem is that such a huge file had to go in and go out through AI, so I was paying for it twice. You know what I mean? I was paying for the, let's say, processing of the tokens two times, one on the input, one on the output. And now that I started to think a little bit more about architecture, I'm like, okay, maybe we should find this report and then without AI, like with some more basic processing, we just put the data over here. So I skipped double payment. And that's like around $1 for every execution. And I do hundreds of these executions while testing. So that saved me a lot of cash. Uh, it also burned me a lot of cash as I was trying, as I figured it out, because I was like, shit, I'm running out of money very fast. And this is just one example of how thinking about the logic itself enables you to kind of have more control over what you're building. Of course, if you just want this to work, cloud will make it work. It will work probably, right? But maybe not exactly in the way that you want. I probably could describe the whole thing from the very beginning to the cloud and it would do it. But the thing is, as I'm doing the thing, I'm thinking about it, and only then those ideas come to me. They're not like I'm sitting over here and I'm like, oh, it should work like that. No, it's only as I build it, I discovered it. And and the I spoke with this designer from Shopify like yesterday. And he told me that these days, as a lot of designer job is getting automated, we have design systems, we have AIs, a lot of stuff is automated. A lot of designer job is kind of moving into this layer of thinking about logic, thinking about API. How does each API call each node? Where does the data go? It's kind of like we were writing user flows back in the day. And a lot of people have this crappy user flows in their folio, like, oh, this is the beginning and this is the end and this is how the user goes. The thing that pretty much looks exactly the same in every case study that everybody did. So something like that, but describing actual system logic, not even the user perspective, but the system logic. Where does the data come from? Where does it go? How it is presented. This is something that originally was performed by software architects. But right now, as when it comes to the senior designers, they are starting to go into this territory.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's it. That's it for this office hours. Um, Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in a week.
Thank you, Stan. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.